Hello, Heart of Mary. This is called The Little Splinters of the Cross. The author is anonymous. Little headaches, little heartaches, little griefs of every day, little trials and vexations, how they throng around our way. One great cross, immense and heavy, so it seems to our weak will, might be borne with resignation, but these many small ones kill. Yet all life is formed of small things. Little leaves make up the trees. Many tiny drops of water, blending, make mighty seas. Let us not then by impatience mar the beauty of the whole, but for love of Jesus bear all in silence of our soul, asking Him for grace sufficient to sustain us through each loss, and to treasure each small offering as the splinter of the cross. It's funny because this past week I was swimming at the gym, and I get in my lane and I was kicking back and forth. I actually have a tube that wraps around me that just keeps me afloat so I don't have to get my hair wet. And if that isn't the funniest thing. But in the aisle next to me is this woman who jumps in that lane. She doesn't get in the lane to the very furthest away from me. She goes in that particular lane. Of course, she's not thinking about me and that I'm trying not to get my hair wet. She's thinking about how she can be healthy and exercise. So she gets in her lane, and as she had done many times in the week before, and she starts this extra crazy heavy kicking that I've never seen splashes so high. And here I am in the pool and I'm irritated that my hair is getting wet. So I got in the car and I really started laughing about it because I just thought how absolutely ridiculous this is. And it got me thinking about other things that are just so ridiculous. Getting mad at cars heading down the road. I remember my girls used to say, "Mom, why do you talk to them? They can't hear you." But somehow I felt if I got frustrated with them, it would make me feel better. But, those are just a couple examples, and I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. And in this poem, it talks about headaches and little aches and pains that cause us so much frustration, and in such a way that maybe can even put us in a bad mood. Definitely moves us away from God because we're not thinking about praying. We're just so frustrated. We're just thinking about that little frustration. So I am a person who tries to put myself in the situation of someone else. And it seems in my life there is always someone else who is worse off, has worse off things than I do. And take it a step further and look a little bit outside of just your own little personal world. What about the world around you, people you don't know? My husband just read me an article this morning in that popped up on his phone about a young woman who had a boating accident years ago and who has lived with excruciating leg pain for the last 8 years and has made a huge decision to take her leg off. And she's a very young woman, and it just gives us our perspective. It just puts us back in our place. But more than that, focusing on that cross, coming right from my heart, friends. My husband's uncle was a very big man, very strong man. He would lift cars. He was a car repairman, and he would lift them with this full body strength. And at some point, obviously, his body gave up and couldn't take that anymore. And his hips were giving out. And it seemed as one thing after the other started breaking down on his precious body. And this man, for sure, he loved our Lord with all his heart. He loved Jesus on the cross. Jesus on the cross represented to him what he could do, because if Jesus could do that on the cross, he would say, I can do anything. And in the end, the weeks and months, last weeks and months of his life, the things that the medical professionals had to do just to keep him alive and just to keep him from getting even sicker was excruciating. But I would have him on the phone and he would tell me, and I could see him pointing up at his crucifix on the wall, if he could do that, I could do this. So again, when it comes to those little crosses, they do matter, because in the moment, for some reason, it does whatever it needs to do. But I say, let's just let them go and just, again, offer them up to God, and offer them up for the friend of yours who is struggling much worse off than you are. So I am thankful for all of you and hope you have a beautiful day. I hope you like this little poem. It's one of my favorites. All right, we'll talk to you soon.